Hey guys, it's Mike here, and welcome to another LSM Q&A that I'm going to be bringing you guys here on Laughingstock Media, in which I'm going to be answering your subscriber questions that I asked you guys over here on my community tab. So I asked you guys to leave me some really good questions, and let's hope that that question and that request paid off, and let's go and start the questions right now with number one, the top rated comment or the most liked, which is from Unwrapped Llama. Well, that's certainly an interesting name. And they asked, what character, be it a hero or a villain from Universe 7, is most qualified to replace Beerus as the God of Destruction? Now, this is an interesting question because I actually already did a video about this, which was like last week or the week before, which you guys can see right here, who is the best God of Destruction candidate. So check that out if you want that question answered, and let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Papa Nappa, that's another funny name. What if Mike from LSM survived the Cell games? Well, I mean, fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, depending upon your perspective, I did survive and go on to watch the Buu Saga, and it made me wish that I didn't survive at all. How terrible it was. Or was it? The answer is yes. But no, I'll talk more about the Buu Saga very much in depth, I'm sure, in the future. But yeah, I mean, maybe a part of me died during that arc. If they do decide to use Gogeta in the new Broly movie, will the time limit be enough to defeat him, since the amount of power from a fused character seems to dwindle their original 30-minute time limit? I mean, yeah, that's one of the biggest concerns I have with Gogeta, or really any fusion, because, you know, they've really nerfed fusion since the Buu Saga. Although you can argue that they kind of nerfed it in its own arc. But the fact of the matter is that, you know, every single time somebody uses fusion now, be it Gotenks or Vegeta, you know, they just defuse. Like, they never get the job done, and right when they're about to, or when they're getting pretty close, they split in two. And we even saw that in the most recent episode of Super Dragon Ball Heroes, where Vegeta is fighting against Cumber. Now, at least he was able to use the Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken before this happened, so we got kind of a cool beam struggle, but the fact of the matter is he's still split in half. So, you know, that's what I really hope doesn't happen with Gogeta, but, you know, maybe they'll do something where, you know, the time limit will actually be better for Gogeta than it is for Vegeta, even though that would completely reverse their roles and completely undo everything Vegeta was supposed to be. But hey, you know, it's Dragon Ball Super, it's highly possible. What if Frieza trained after the battle of Super Saiyan Goku on Namek? And also, what is going on with Geekdom's channel? I hope it's not getting taken down. Now, for the first question, Frieza was really badly damaged, you know, and had to have the mecha replacements, thus becoming Mecha Frieza. He was already more powerful as Mecha Frieza than he was on Namek, which was stated by Frieza himself. But when it comes to training, you know, I don't know if he could really train to the degree that he did in, like, Resurrection F, just because that was Frieza with a whole body versus Frieza with only some of his body. But I feel like if he were to do, like, meditation, image training, kind of the stuff he did in Hell, you know, before the Tournament of Power, then I feel like basically he would probably still get a really big boost. But, you know, it depends on just how long he's training for, and Frieza at that point wasn't very inclined to do training, so, you know, it really comes down to what kind of training he would do, and if his mecha enhancements would actually become a giant detriment to him getting more powerful. It's kind of like the Darth Vader situation, although with him, he still became more powerful than Anakin, but I know a lot of people like to argue that. And for number two, Geekdom's been having some copyright issues, so he seems to be getting them more resolved over time. You know, it seems like there's some positives on that side, but yeah, there's been some BS copyright stuff going on YouTube for a long time, and sometimes it seems like it's just getting worse and worse, and it's really time, I feel like, for them to start to support the content creators a little bit more, because these companies that come in and do these false strikes and claims, they're causing a lot of problems, and maybe YouTube should start doing a 3-strike rule with them, or maybe they should start being a little bit more restrictive on certain companies that continue to just try and destroy people's channels. Like, it really needs to come to an end. Make sure to follow Geekdom on his Twitch channel, because he's also going to be doing more content on there. And I also have a Twitch channel as well, Laughingstock Media, that you can also follow me on, because I'm sure I'll be doing more stuff on there in the future as well. Why didn't future Trunks or Gohan ever find new Namek? Also, which do you prefer, Kai or Z? You know, I'm going to actually be doing a video about that. What if future Trunks went to Namek in the future? However, I do think it would have made a significant difference, especially when we consider the fact that the Z fighters were likely training the entire time in heaven. But the fact of the matter is, at that point, not entirely too sure if they could have reached it, but that's a discussion for another day. Also, do I prefer Kai or Z? I prefer the original Z. If I want the story of the manga, I'm just going to read the manga. But when it comes to Z versus Kai, you know, Kai definitely is an improvement in some ways. It definitely has, you know, a good remastering of the series, but ultimately I just feel like I don't really like the way it's been edited. I don't like some of the voice acting as much as the original, you know, be it the Japanese and in some cases the English, even though it's a lot more accurate now, which is a great thing. I don't like the music placement as much. There's a lot of things here and there that I don't really like as much about it as the original Z, but if I want to have like a quick rewatch of Dragon Ball Z, sometimes I'll just, you know, pop Kai in. Even though with the Buu Saga version, it's not really quick anymore. What do you think would happen if an angel died? Well, that's really a difficult question to answer, because we don't really know if the angels are a part of the typical life-death cycle. You know, they might be a part of a different class of being that's beyond the multiverse itself, kind of like the Grand Priest perhaps and Zeno. But if they were to die, you know, I'm sure they could easily be brought back, and it's possible they can even resurrect themselves, considering what we saw happen at the end of the final arc. So we'll have to see if that ever happens, but I'm sure Toriyama will give us some kind of interesting explanation. What is Goku and Whis' relationship? Does Goku care about Whis like he does with Roshi? I'm sure that Goku likes him. He's basically friends with Whis and Beerus, so, you know, I feel like if something bad were to happen to them, Goku would care about it. I don't know if he really has as great of a relationship with them as, say, Roshi, or really deeply cares about them as much, but I'm sure that there definitely is that relationship there, because after all, Whis is still Goku's teacher. So, you know, much like his other teachers, I feel like Goku has some kind of deeply ingrained relationship there. Who would win, Super Saiyan God Goku from Battle of Gods or Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta? I mean, I lean towards Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, because even though we saw God Goku, you know, punching Beerus and destroying part of the universe, you know, or at least causing a chain reaction that would destroy the mortal universe as well as the afterlife. You know, the fact of the matter is, we didn't see Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta that long, and feats in Dragon Ball GT are kind of understated, or they're just not really as blown up to the levels of Super. So, you know, based upon feats, you might want to say that God could win, but when it comes down to just pure strength and multipliers, I'm not so sure. Hey Mike, when Muten Roshi performed his full power Kamehameha at Mount Frying Pan and then the Tenkaichi Budokai to destroy the moon, he transformed his body to a hypermuscular form. Question, was this transformation necessary for such a powerful blast so as to not destroy his body in the process? It's probably what we've seen like in similar forms or similar transformations from the Saiyans later on in Dragon Ball Z, where basically Roshi is going to his complete full power. So for his body to compensate for this giant full power, or this massive increase in pure power, he has to basically bulk up his muscles, you know? Kind of similar to what happened with the Super Saiyans Grade 2 and Grade 3. Is it necessary? I mean, I'm sure that they could train to such a point where he doesn't really need to, but even in the Tournament of Power, this stuff is happening, so I feel like it probably is necessary, at least for Roshi, to use that level of power. Now, why he used the same level of power to destroy a mountain and then to destroy the moon is beyond me, but hey, it's Dragon Ball. Who do you think would win the cook-off between Naruto and Goku? I don't know if Goku really knows how to cook, so if Naruto has any real level of cooking ability, then I feel like he'd probably win. Do you know what happened to Josh? He hasn't uploaded a video in 9 months, I'm kind of worried. Well, if you watch my videos on this channel, you'll see that I've had Josh being in a number of them for a little while now, ever since pretty much he left YouTube. Although he says he's coming back, he says he's going to upload in the future again, so if he does, look forward to it. If BLACKENFIST can come back, Josh from Dragon Ball Nation can come back. Rate all the Dragon Ball series on a scale from 1 to 10. That's going to require its own video. It's going to take me way too long to really break down all the minutia. Out of all the anime you watched, which one is the best written? Now that's a difficult question. I lean toward Full Metal Alchemist or maybe something like Hunter x Hunter, just because of how Togashi really likes to craft and flesh out his worlds. But, maybe Full Metal Alchemist. I think that'd be a really good option to pick. Cumber is already more powerful than a Super Saiyan Blue, a match for Vegeta Blue Kaioken, and has an orange ape transformation, okay? Is Cumber stealing Broly's spotlight? It just seems like Toei and the people who are in control of Dragon Ball really like to kind of reiterate themselves a little too much. Like, we saw Frieza come back, and then the very next arc we saw a Frieza clone again, and then we eventually get to see two Friezas at the same time, basically. So, it seems like they had Kale come in, and she's basically Broly, and look, Broly's coming back. Oh wait, there's another Broly character, basically, in Dragon Ball Heroes, so I don't know if it's a lack of originality, or that they just really like to emphasize certain things, but, it seems like that's one of the ongoing things with Dragon Ball. Is Cumber stealing his spotlight? I mean, he's still basically just a powerful Hoss character, so if Broly has any kind of personality or really interesting backstory, I feel like it's going to be hard for him to not be able to overtake this character, and his original version for that matter. What if Frieza never blew up Planet Vegeta? Well, literally everything would change, and that's a very in-depth question you're asking me, so maybe another video sometime. Do you plan on reviewing My Hero Academia Season 2 and Season 3 when it ends? I really like your answer to my questions. I like your content. I wish you lots of success. Well, thank you, and thank you for asking questions and watching my videos. I do plan on doing reviews for those series at some point. Other videos have come up and other things have come up that have kind of delayed that, but it's possible that I might go back and rewatch both of them or even the entire series when I do that. So Todoroki from the provisional license exams versus Sasuke from the end of the Chunin exams, not really sure because I haven't actually seen all the way up to the end of the Chunin exams. I was about in the middle of it when I had to divert my attention to other things, basically. But, Todoroki seems to have some pretty powerful techniques, with the fire and with the ice. So just based upon that, I lean in his direction, unless, of course, Sasuke gets some ridiculous anime power-up during the Chunin exams, which is also possible. Do you think people put way too high power scaling in Z? I know in Super, the power scaling is a mess, but in the Namek saga, we see characters getting stronger for block convenience, Piccolo going from 2k to 1 million. I don't think that Piccolo was only at 2k at that point, but inconsistent Zenkai boosts, Frieza overall power. Yeah, like, obviously power scaling throughout Z wasn't exactly perfect. It really kind of got ridiculous in the Namek arc. And then the Cell saga, Toriyama kind of went out of his way to improve it, or at least do his best to improve it, because, he made characters around the same level of power for a while. You had your Vegetas, your Trunkses, your Piccolos, your Gohans, your Gokus, and of course I'm doing all the plural because we had multiple timelines, but still the fact of the matter is that he went out of his way to really make these characters at least more in a similar realm of power, but come the end of the arc and then the Buu saga, it kind of went back in the favor of just being Goku and the Saiyan show again, and in Super it's basically still like that. So, I'm not going to say that Super was the one that completely ruined power scaling or completely threw it off the rails, but, it's basically taken what Toriyama did in Z and just made it much worse with the power scaling. So that's just kind of how it is. What would happen if Majin Vegeta was actually under Babdi's control? He would probably fight people and be an even bigger jerk than he was, and he would probably still lose and get eaten by Boo because, you know, Boo did the same thing to Deborah. So I don't know if anything really would change that much, but I'm sure you guys will let me know if you disagree down below in the comments. Why wasn't Frieza's wish on Namek to be stronger than God of Destruction if he knew about them? Because Toriyama hadn't thought of the concept yet, number one, and number two, because it's no doubt beyond the dragon's power. Why is Ultra Instinct making Goku so much stronger? Shouldn't it be a state that just makes anyone avoid danger being hit by your opponent? Even though they promote it like at the end of the day it's a power-up, well, apparently it is a power-up because it releases Goku's, like, full hidden potential, which, you know, I thought that was Gohan's gimmick, but I guess we're gonna ignore that because it's Super, and every Saiyan is basically Gohan now, except Gohan sometimes. But yeah, I guess it makes you stronger, and it lets you avoid most damage, because if somebody just gets stronger than you, or at the same level, then apparently it doesn't really matter that much, according to Jiren. So, yeah. I did a whole other video about that as well, called Did Dragon Ball Super Ruin Ultra Instinct?, which you can check out on my channel. Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta versus Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, no time limit. I mean, again, just based upon, like, feats and everything, we could probably say that Vegeta would be able to win, you know, if they had 0 time limit whatsoever. You know, Gogeta does have, like, that OP move, the Stardust Breaker, or whatever it's called, you know, so if it can work on pretty much anyone, there might be a chance, and if he knows the Mafuba somehow, there might be a chance, but I feel like Vegeta, just based upon what we've seen in Super, might be able to take that cake right there. Who is actually stronger, Final Form Frieza or 5th Form Cooler? Well, definitely Cooler. They've already said that he's stronger. Why are only some users with 100,000 subs verified and not all of them? I don't know, I think it's just a YouTube thing, you know? That's one of the very few things that many people are concerned about when it comes to YouTube glitches and, strange things that happen on the website. What's next for Dragon Ball after the Broly movie, and when do you stop recycling old ideas? Do you just let fandom burn itself out and keep getting the money, or, well, I don't know. I mean, maybe we'll see another Cooler movie, another Janemba movie, another Harunagarn movie, who knows? Like, it really comes down to, does Toriyama just want to remake old things, and does Toei just want to do what's already popular, or do they want to create new things and new concepts that will be popular in the future? You know, at least with Dragon Ball and Z, you know, Toriyama was creating new things, and when he brought something back, like, say, the Red Ribbon Army, or the concept of magic, it was him doing it to reference what he's done in the past, you know, in a more artistic way. Whereas now it's basically like Toei's like, hey Toriyama, Broly's really popular, can you make another movie about him? Or, hey Toriyama, can you bring Future Trunks back? Hey Toriyama, can you make an evil Goku in this arc? You know, the fact of the matter is that those things are more brought to him and saying, do this because it's popular, rather than back in the day when he would create something like on his own, or he would reuse something because he actually liked the concept and wanted to reuse it. So yeah, I don't really know. I guess it really comes down to how much are the fans going to watch, what are they going to demand, and will Toei actually do something different? What if Broly and Cumber fused? They would become the most muscular fighter in the history of Dragon Ball, and Harold would have to use 10% against them, but still be able to win. Can Evil Boo and Super Boo and Kid Boo come back in the Dragon Ball TV series by using the Super Dragon Balls? I mean, if the Super Dragon Balls can do literally anything, then I don't see why not, but it wouldn't make any sense for them to come back. I know they're popular, it's like, let's bring Kid Boo back, but Kid Boo is Oob. Let's bring Super Boo back, but, you know, Super Boo is literally just Kid Boo who has Fat Boo absorbed, even though Evil Boo is the one who absorbed him. But hey, I'm not about to say that the entire Boo transformation hierarchy isn't, you know, a confusing mess, because it definitely is. What if Goku's Ki Blast didn't revive him after Hit killed him? He would have been dead, and they would have just used the Namekian or Super Dragon Ball to swish him back, and he would have been like, damn, I thought that would have worked, and it wouldn't have, and it wouldn't have had any real impact on the rest of the series, because it was basically filler. How old are Goku and Vegeta at this point? I'll probably do a video about that, especially because, you know, it's difficult with that time in Whis' staff. We don't know exactly how fast time moves in there. All we know is Goku said it's similar to the hyperbolic time chambers. So, you know, that's going to be a whole different discussion in and of itself. What are your opinions on the new Broly movie? I've done videos about it. How strong is Jaco and who would he be comparable to? I might do a video on this, but, you know, he's definitely stronger than, like, regular humans. He might be like early Dragon Ball, maybe like 21st, 22nd Tenkaichi levels, but that's about it. What's happening to Geekdom 101's channel, and what can we do to help? Well, follow him on his Twitter and other social media platforms. Also, make sure to follow him on Twitch and, you know, help support him and maybe, you know, send some tweets out to YouTube. Try and be respectful when you do it because, you know, if it's just angry, insulting tweets, they're probably not going to take it as well. But it's really hard to resolve things like this because they are internal YouTube problems, and it's happening to more than just him. But if you follow him on Twitter, you can keep up to date with all of the information about the situation. If Goku and Tien fused, could they have beaten Buhan? I don't think so. I mean, Buhan is so much more powerful than Goku, and you know, like, maybe the Potara fusion would boost them significantly, but I don't really believe in the whole concept of it being, you know, Goku times Vegeta or this times that, because that would seem like such a ridiculous power boost, and from what we can see, Buu's absorption is only addition, so I don't think that Vegeta was, like, thousands or millions of times stronger than him or anything like that. After watching Seth the Programmer talk about how Super Saiyan Rose's multiplier, do you still hold true to the 1.202 times power-up, or have you since changed your ideas about how strong you think Super Saiyan Rose makes Black Goku? I mean, I feel like a lot of people who like to talk about this video haven't actually seen it, like they've just seen Seth's video or Chuck's video or whatever, you know, but when it comes down to it, it was MJ from GeekListTV and now MJxTV and myself, and we were discussing the Super Saiyan Rose multiplier and really the power-up that Goku Black receives. And based upon everything we were discussing in the video, we didn't really think that it made sense for it to be a 50 times or massive power-up like Seth and many other people have said, and in that case, yeah, I still don't think that it is a giant power-up because I don't think that Super Saiyan Rose is simply Goku Black's version of Super Saiyan. I don't think that that's what the context of the scene and what we hear about afterwards is saying, and I don't think that the design implies that at all. It looks more like his Super Saiyan Blue, and even in the English dub and other versions of the translation, they specifically say that it's a level of Super Saiyan called Rose, or it's a level of power called Rose, you know? And even in Toriyama's notes, he explains that Goku Black would have a regular Super Saiyan form, and then he would have Super Saiyan Rose. So there's a lot of evidence saying that it's not just a regular Super Saiyan form, and in that case, you know, there's no guarantee that it's 50 times. I just think when you look at the logic of the situation, when you see how Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta performs against Base Goku Black, and then you see how when Goku Black transforms, he's still not actually stronger than Vegeta yet until he gets the power up from that morsel, as he basically describes afterward. And when you consider Vegeta's mindset, how he trained so that he could kill this guy, and then how the guy literally just embarrassed him before he starts attacking him as a Super Saiyan Blue, and then how he reacts when he jumps out of that hole, kind of like Yusuke versus Toguro, it doesn't really make sense to suggest that it's a gigantic power-up. It doesn't have to be 1.202 times. The reason why we went with that is just because, you know, using prior evidence in the franchise to talk about how basically, you know, this is the difference between two fighters that you need to, like, dominate them. It could be anywhere from 20% to 2 times, as we saw with Vegeta versus Kui, and then we saw with Gohan versus Cell. But it could be 5 times, it could be even 10 times maybe, but the higher you increase that number, the more numbers you try and shove in that little space right there, the more and more unrealistic the entire situation becomes, and especially when we start to inject Trunks into the situation, who as a Super Saiyan 2 is fighting against Super Saiyan Rose, blocking his shots meant for Super Saiyan Blue, and then sending him in, like, flying. So I just don't think it's a big multiplier, and I'm still gonna disagree with Seth and pretty much anyone else who says it is. But hey, none of this is actually factual. It's all just our own headcanons and our own interpretations of what's going on. And that's why I think that, you know, people should actually be respectful of these other opinions. opinions rather than, say, attacking people and then sending their subscribers after people just so that they can say that my headcanon and my opinion is superior to yours, which it really isn't. And whether you agree with me, with Seth, or have your own opinion, just try and be respectful about it. Do you think Broly will survive the movie and come back for revenge? I did a video talking about that. Check it out on my channel. If Kid Buu trained for a year, would he be able to beat Jiren? Not even sure about that. I guess we're gonna have to see with Oob's level of training, and just how powerful he becomes. But, I think that Fat Buu trained for like a day and he became like base Goku level, so it's possible. At this moment, if future Trunks were to face Gohan, who would win? I did another video with Geekdom 101 on my channel. You could check it out. Who has the most potential and who would win if they fought? Who do you think would defeat Broly in the upcoming Dragon Ball Super movie? I talked about this as well. You guys gotta make sure to check out some of my videos before you ask these questions, guys. Also, why do you think post-Frieza arc, why the Saiyans could become Super Saiyans, other than the plot and the story? I don't understand your question, but it's because they trained. They explained it in the show. My question, am I too late? No, not really at all. What's your favorite anime except for DB? Yu Yu Hakusho? What if Vegeta Red fused with Goku Blue? They would just be fused normally, that's how it is, and it's called God Vegeta, not Red. Where can I get the English episodes from Dragon Ball Z to Dragon Ball GT and Super, etc.? Probably on Amazon or something. I'm not going to tell you where to go and find them illegally. What is your favorite technique in Dragon Ball? That's an interesting question. Maybe the Kaioken. I could see myself doing another video about that in the future. Do you think UI will make an appearance in the upcoming Broly movie, and how will it change the course of the movie? Well, I hope if they use it, he actually wins with it, because if he doesn't win with it this time, that's going to be a little annoying, because once again, they're going to completely waste the form. Or technique, whatever you want to call it. Who wins in a fight? Nigel Thornberry versus Spike from Rugrats? I feel like Nigel would be able to win because he's dealt with things a lot more threatening than a dog. Especially if he has Eliza on his side, she could just talk the dog down. Do you think that Gogeta will be in the Super Broly movie? I think it's possible. Why didn't the androids in the Tournament of Power just continually give energy to the team? Because they have a different kind of energy, they can't just infinitely give you energy and energy and energy, and Geekdom 101 actually did a video explaining that. Maybe I missed it, but what happened to Future Trunks? Did he go back to the universe that Zeno erased? Yeah, you did miss it. They literally explained everything about it at the end of the last episode of the arc, I think 67, so yeah, definitely watch that. You could watch it for free on Crunchyroll or VRV. How many licks does it take to get to the center of a Dragon Ball? Well, let's find out. A 1, a 2, a 3, your wish has been granted. Why don't you start covering Hunter x Hunter since it's returning the 22nd of September? Very possible. What if Goku was a girl? How different would the series be? I think you should probably ask Misako X that. He seems like he's a little bit more interested in answering that question than I am. Can Vegeta ride the Nimbus? Same answer. Hey Harold, why do you hate Mike? Harold has allowed me to say, as the advocate of the beast incarnate, Harold von Hugemuscles, that he hates me because I'm scrawny and I can't live up to his muscles. Which is true. Thanos versus Broly. Thanos just snaps his fingers. Goodbye, Broly. Because I never owned an N64 Game Boy Original or Game Boy Color, I had to play out the Pokemon and Zelda games on the 3DS. This is why I never played Red, Blue, or Yellow. Did you have to do the same? No, I actually played the Pokemon games as they were being released in order. So when Red and Blue first hit the United States, I played them. Same thing with Yellow, which I didn't like as much as Red and Blue, and Ruby and Sapphire, obviously Gold and Silver before that. I don't know why I would go to Ruby and Sapphire next, but, I played pretty much all of them, except for I haven't played Sun and Moon yet, but that's about it. Not sure if I'm going to play the Switch one yet, at least not until they release like a real one. But hey, however you enjoy the games, I guess that's good enough for me, but I would still say to play them in order of release. Broly from movies 8 and 10 versus Gogeta Fusion Reborn. Gogeta would annihilate him. It wouldn't even be a fight. Have you read any of the Harry Potter books? Yeah, I've read all of them, and I really like the Harry Potter series. I've seen all the movies many times, and I'm sure I'll talk more about that on Laughingstock Cinema in the future. Have you seen any of the Johnny English movies? Yeah, I know it's coming out, and I find Rowan Atkinson's comedy pretty funny, so I'll probably check it out at some point. I'm not sure if I'm going to see it in theaters, but, it looks like it's probably going to be funny. What if a lot more Saiyans come after the movie? I'm sure they will, because they'll probably go to Planet Sidal at some point, but I'm kind of tired of the Saiyans at this point. Can't we have more unique aliens show up, or maybe focus a little more on the Namekians? I don't know. Something other than just Saiyan. Look, Super Saiyan. Look, Super Saiyan God. Look, Ozaru. I get it, guys. Can we have something a little bit different? That'd be cool. Does Topo put small animals in robots, and can Liqueur fly with his tails like a helicopter? Sure, why not? Will Jiren return for an actually big fight as promised with the "next time I win" line, or will he just be a side character like Tien later or beat by Goku in 2 episodes and then just show off the next villain like Hit was? I lean more towards that if I'm going to be cynical, but, I hope it's the former. Will Nappa ever catch Chaozu in his quest to become a Pokemon master? No, his rival Gary will do it first. What are your thoughts on the Robin Hood film this September? I really don't care. I haven't cared about Robin Hood since I was a kid, and I feel like most people don't care about Robin Hood either. It's a story that's had way too many adaptations. It's had serious ones, it's had comedic ones, it's had musicals probably, so, it's just too old of the content and too overdone for anyone to care. Same thing with King Arthur. They have to just do something different now. And there's lots of mythology and folklore to pull from. How relevant would Perfect Cell be in Super? Well, probably Super Perfect Cell, if we're to be realistic. In DBZ, I had a feeling in the Buu Saga he'd be considered weak. Well, yeah, he'd be beaten by Vegeta, Goku, and probably Gohan eventually, obviously, and then Gotenks. So yeah, he would have to train and get a Frieza boost to actually matter. Do you think that Gohan could take on the spotlight of DB or Gotheen? I have no idea what the heck you're talking about. I don't even understand what this question is saying right here. Can a Supreme Kai become a god of destruction? I'm not too sure if they can. It seems like the Kais are literally born Kais. I don't know if a Kai can become a god of destruction. They're basically like the equivalent version, so I don't think it would probably work that way. But hey, it's possible, especially if the two of them fuse. Do you think Whis is ever going to have an actual fight? I mean, they specifically say that the Angels don't fight, like they're not supposed to, but it'd be cool if they do. And a couple more questions. What would happen if, say, Raditz was never killed by Piccolo and brought back to Dr. Gero as a Saiyan android? That's a really long, difficult question to answer, especially since we have no idea how powerful 17 and 18 would have been as humans if they, say, trained, versus how strong they are as androids. But, I'm sure he would have been stronger than Yamcha, let's say that. Who is your main waifu? I don't have those because I don't care. Do you think we will see Vegeta's Super Saiyan Blue evolution in the movie? It's anime exclusive, they said, but at the same time, it's possible because it is an anime movie. Do you talk to Rhyme Style? Every now and then. He's pretty cool. What if Cell came back with either a new form or just god level power? I did a video basically about that. Do Cooler and Janemba deserve their own super movies? I really, it'd be cool to see them get them, I guess. No pun intended. But at the same time, I really don't want that. I'd want something new and original. And finally, since Goku is an alien, would that mean that Ben 10 could use the Omnitrix to turn into a Super Saiyan? Sure, why not? But anyway, guys, this has been another LSM Q&A that I've been doing here on this channel, in which I've been answering your subscriber questions. Make sure to give me your own answers to these questions down below in the comments. And if you're new to this channel, then make sure to subscribe and enable notifications so that you can see all of my videos right away when they come out. And if you like this video, then make sure to stick around, because there's a lot more to come in the future.
Yeah, and you better subscribe, enable those damn notifications.